Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Hoporenkv Native American podcast, where we discuss focused topics within tribal housing and self-determination. I'm Brooke Warrington, the Training and Development Specialist here at the NLC, and with me is Awista Atkins, the Training and Development Coordinator. And today we're so excited. We're going to be talking about a day in the life of a resident services department. And we have our special guest with us here today, Christine De Los Santos, Resident Services Manager, and Montana Wise and Maddie Ferranti, Resident Service Specialists. And all of these lovely ladies are working at the Northern Circle Indian Housing Authority. Thank you so much for joining us today, ladies. Let's go ahead and get started. Can everyone just share a little bit about their particular position and role in housing?
So I'll go first. Thank you for having us. So I am the Resident Services Manager here at Northern Circle. So our department, what we do is we oversee all of our on-site housing, about 181 units that we have on the different reservations, rancherias, and then we have 4 units in the private market in the city limits of Ukiah. And then we run all of the rental assistance programs in the private market. And we have landlords in contract like all throughout United States. And we have like 102 members on that program. It's very limited funding. Emergency services, we respond to natural disasters. So I oversee the entire department, making sure that we're in compliance with our policy and procedure here, HUD guidance, and yeah, that's basically what I do.
Okay, and for me, I am a resident services specialist, focusing mainly on the on-site units and the on-site tenants. I do a little bit of the rental assistance as well, so it's kind of switching back and forth with that. But my main focus is the on-site tenants. So any if they need help with rent, I help with that.
I oversee the HAF program. That's the Homeowners Assistance Fund. We help homeowners with mortgage payments, utility payments, and minor home repairs. So that's the majority of what I do.
Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourselves. Can you please tell us, how did each of you start out in this career?
So I actually, I came to Northern Circle, it'll be 7 years this coming March. I have a background, worked 18 years in law enforcement, and unfortunately I had an injury and I was no longer able to work in that field of work. But you know what? It really actually was a blessing in disguise. The former founding director of Northern Circle, I knew her just from encounters from my previous job, and I spoke to her, and she was just like, you know, the sweetest person, and she gave me a chance in, you know, a new career in a field that I felt like I had zero experience in. But she just said, you know, I really like how you talk to people, how you work with people. And she's like, just give us a chance, come check it out. And I started out as an assistant in the management department. And so I just had this one little program. It was maybe like 80 members that I would help. I just got to know like all of the members like really well on that program. It was like I knew each person like by heart, what their family situation was, where they were exactly located. I mean, everything. It just became like really good friends with everybody. And then slowly Northern Circle started growing bigger. And so it just, you know, developed into, you know, promotion and a bigger department. And so that's actually how I came to Northern Circle, though.
For me, I was told about the opening it was an application intake specialist. Housing
during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID. Housing was never in my plan. I never even thought about it. It was never something that was, you know, I never thought about it. And then I ended up actually loving it. So as an application intake specialist, I was able to learn each program and kind of specialize in each program, which was super awesome. And then the resident services specialist position opened up, which was a permanent position in the same department. So I applied and I got it, and it was for the on-site position. And it was awesome. And now I just you know, kind of like Christine said, just you get to know the members personally. And I think that's my favorite part now is like you develop a relationship with them, and, you know, you're able to, you know, let them know that they can trust you, and, you know, we're here to help, and it's not anything scary. Like, we're not, you know, a scary landlord or anything like that. Like, we're really here to just be somebody you can talk to, and, you know, just kind of confide in if you need it, and we're always here to help. So that's kind of how I became in this position.
I started with Northern Circle about 9 months ago. Yeah, in February of this year. I have an AA in accounting, and so I was looking to get back into that kind of career, and Northern Circle had a fiscal specialist position open. I applied for it. I got it about 2 or 3 months in. After being around everything that Northern Circle does, I realized my heart was more with the resident services department, and that I wanted to be on the front line of things. And so a position became available, and I jumped at the opportunity.
Oh, that's so great that all of you found your way into something that you feel is so rewarding, and that each of you have such a different path to how you got to housing too. That's really cool to have in, you know, one department, such different backgrounds. What would be like a typical day in each of your roles?
You know what? I'll honestly say right now, there's nothing typical in a day-to-day situations, because I mean, you know, I mean, in this business, like, you're going to come in Monday. Yeah, it's going to be a super heavy day. And, you know, it's going to lead into Tuesday, because you can't get to like every situation that happened over the weekend, or, you know, a person's struggling, or, you know, they're in crisis. So we're going to respond to that. That takes time. So, I mean, basically by the time you get to Wednesday, okay, we can like refocus. We got the crises like all taken care of. And now we can like, okay, where are we on our ledgers? Where are we with our budgets? So-and-so is trying to do a transfer. We got a water leak over here. Maddie will be like, oh, this person has a mortgage increase. Let's pull this. Or, you know, there is nothing typical. So, yeah, and then, you know, Thursday, I feel like we get ourselves a little bit back together. Like, okay, we could actually really take a lunch today, you know, and then, okay, here's Friday. Let's try to close it out as best as we can. And then we'll have our piles ready for like Monday.
Then Monday rolls in.
Yeah. So we can just like
repeat.
Yeah, really. That's what it is. But I don't think anything's really like typical. So everything is actually it's unique. So, yeah. I don't know. How do you guys feel? Does it feel typical to you?
I think the only typical thing that we do every day is check our emails and our voicemails when we first get here. If we're able to, if we're not already on the phone dealing with a crisis, that would be the only typical thing, is start your day with checking what you received overnight, or, you know, any, you know, overnight issues that happened. That would probably be the only typical thing. Other than that, it's kind of just.
No 2 days are the same, that's for sure. There's new obstacles every day that you didn't think would ever arise.
So kind of tying into what you guys are saying, and since, you know, no day is the same, how do you not only establish a relationship with the residents, since things are always kind of changing, and how do you understand their questions and concerns?
So, you know, that's a great question, because like, you're forming these relationships. Okay. So it was extremely difficult during COVID, because you have elders that have never had an email, never used any type of social media platform. Like, hey, let's jump on Zoom, or like, let's jump on Google Meet, and like, we could talk and I could walk you through this. So like, not having that capacity to be able to use those platforms, very challenging. You know, just, you know, getting the mail out during that time was super challenging, because there was days that the mailman or mail person, sorry if we could say mail person, if they didn't show up because they had their own obstacles that they, we're dealing with. So, I mean, yeah, a ton of challenges during that time. And so how do you keep that relationship going? Okay, we're going to talk on the phone at that time. Or like, hey, can we just text message? Slowly getting into the relationships in that fashion of like, hey, if you don't want to talk on the phone, or because everybody was at their different comfort levels back then. And just like, shoot me a text message. That seemed like that always worked the best. But I mean, and then there are members that, yeah, let's jump on Zoom or let's jump on Google Meet, where we can like help you fill out paperwork, and then really utilizing our website of having applications online, having portals where members can just upload their information that we need so that we could get it in a timely manner. And then transitioning out of COVID into now where everything's safer. So what we do is we actually go out into the communities. We will set days where we can go to the tribal office or here at our Northern Circle office, and we will have the members come in. Let's sit down. Let's go over this paperwork, because I mean, it is like it's trauma when you get a stack of paperwork and it's like, oh, like I'm not going to deal with that because it's scary. It's like you guys are asking a ton of questions. So I mean, sitting with a person and be like, hey, let me help you do this, and let's do it together, and we'll get through this in like 5 minutes, promise.
Yeah, that helps build the trust up with the member as well, and letting them know, we're here to help you. It's it looks scary, but it's actually, it's really simple. Like, here's how you do it. So it builds the trust.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, just showing up for people. If you show up for people and like they know that like you're there for them, I mean, it's just gonna make things so much easier.
Yeah, trust is huge, and I think that sometimes members just want to be heard. They want to be able to vent. They want to be able to talk about their problems without judgment, and that's who we are. That's what we're here for, and that's a key component to this, I feel like.
Yeah, and really just reminding everybody, like, hey, we're human too. Like, we don't know everything, and we're just trying to get by just like everybody else. So like, we'll meet you where you're at, and like, we'll see what's going on, and then like we can go from there. Like, we are here. We're in the business of helping people, and that's what we're going to do.
Everybody that's your resident is so lucky to have a housing unit where your values are truly about showing up for them and serving them. That's really wonderful, because not every industry is like that. And I'm sure that personal touch and that actual care, skills that can't be taught. You either care about people or you don't. I'm sure that's really, really like coming across to them. And that's so wonderful. They're blessed to have you guys. Are there any questions or concerns that come up all the time with your residents that you wish everybody kind of like knew and understood on a mass scale?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, number one, like funding. We don't have enough funding to help everybody. That is like the most challenging, part of this job, because I mean, we can see members that are truly, truly in need, and can we 100% give them what they, deserve? No, we can't, because we're limited on what we can do. So, I mean, I think that's like the biggest thing, is knowing that like, hey, we're doing the best that we can, and we definitely will do something. We're going to find another nonprofit that could possibly like help us out and, get them to the next step. I mean, we don't want to leave anybody hanging, definitely, but I think, and then just the thing, like, we're human too. Like, we make mistakes, we're not perfect. Like, yeah. And then honestly, I mean, we have like, it's a little bit over 5,000 members altogether with the 8 tribes, and it's just 3. And, on the books, we got 8 hours a day. So it's like, it's hard. So
I think a lot of it too is that I wish some of our members understood that it's not an overnight process. It takes time, especially when working with grant funds. Everything you do is very tedious. You have to make sure that everything is absolutely correct and that you have everything filled out the way it needs to be. And that takes time. And sometimes that's a hard thing to understand when you need help right away. And we do our best. I mean, I think our turnaround time is incredibly fast for what it should be. So
during the lockdowns, I mean, other nonprofits or even like county businesses that are in the social service aspect, I mean, you would go and make an appointment. It's like they're 3 or 5 months out just to, get in the door and actually speak to a person. But like here we are over here, I mean, we're doing our best to always have a response within 10 days. And like meeting those goals, it's just like we really are showing up for people. And I mean, it's not fast enough when people are actually in crisis, though.
Thank you very much for addressing those concerns and speaking more to the human side of it, because you guys are human. You're amazing humans, but at the end of the day, you are humans. What aspects of the position have you found to be the easiest to maneuver, and what are the most challenging moments?
You know what? It really, I have not found anything that's easy in this business, because what are we dealing with? We're dealing with people's lives, and there's nothing easy about that when it's a hard situation. But like, if I do have to say like what like easy, I mean the best part is it's easy to be around Montana and Maddie, just because we have like very good like workflow. I mean, we're to the point where we've been together long enough, like we know where each of us where we come from, like where we're at, just because your personal life like plays a role, and like how you're going to respond to other people's trauma, other people's crises. I mean, and it's just being, open, with the team of just like, this is where I'm at today. And, but anyways, yeah, that's the easiest part about the job, is just being with them.
Yeah, I would say the easiest part would be talking with the members and, just kind of just checking in on them, because everything else is pretty, it can be difficult, all of the difficult situations, people's traumas. It is hard, and it's hard not to, put yourself too much in their shoes, where you just, you're like, gosh, if we can't help, if Northern Circle can't help, like, how is the way that I can personally help, but, and then I think another hard part, especially in my position, is when people, when our residents are not, I guess they're afraid if they can't pay their rent, they are afraid to reach out. When, they really can reach out at any time. Like if they can't pay their rent, that's okay. We have different solutions for them. And I think it's scary, because they automatically, think, oh, I'm going to get kicked out. And it's like, that's not it. We are going to do everything in our power to not have that happen. That would be the hardest part, is knowing that they are nervous to call you, and it's, it's a bad feeling when you just want to reach out and say, listen, it's okay. Like, there's no judgment. I'm here to help. Like, I get it. Times are tough, and you guys, you can call and we can get it figured out for you.
I think for me, the most challenging aspect of the job is wanting to help more, even though you can't. We help out so many different members with so many different things, and at the end of the day, there's some members that need additional assistance that you can't provide. And for me, it affects me, and that's my challenge, is wanting to help more, even in situations when we really can't.
I'm not gonna lie, y'all are gonna make me emotional. No, seriously, the residents that y'all serve are so blessed to have people as compassionate as you are, working toward the betterment of their situation or helping to navigate them through crises. Like, it's just wonderful to like listen to people who are passionate about what they do and who truly care, as like the love like leaps right off the screen, so it's really nice to hear. If I asked you to talk about like what would be a super challenging situation that y'all have like successfully navigated, is there a specific like story that comes to mind, whether that be for you as a whole department or whether that be for you as individuals? Like, is there one that you're really just like super proud that y'all got through because of how challenging it was and you were able to successfully navigate?
I mean, yeah, we've had a few, but like the biggest challenge so far, I mean, for me personally, was, I mean, during the pandemic, and we had the emergency rental assistance program through the Department of Treasury, and the overall funding for that was like $9 million on that we were operating on. And I mean, it was just, you know, thousands of members that we spoke to. And then, I mean, it's like one thing, like you think, oh, you're just going to run this application, you're going to input the information, but there's like way more to that. I mean, like overnight, I had to teach myself a different like platform to watch our funding, because we're constantly working in real time. And then the fiscal department, they're going to be like 30 days behind us just because of how the reporting is. So at any time, they're going to have this one number, but we're going to have a different number. So I really had to learn how to like really keep an eye on like budgets. I mean, that was very stressful. $9 million. I've never had to do a project that big and like be responsible for that many people all at one time. But then at the same time, like, okay, you got this on the books, you're doing this paperwork, but like in real life, you have this family that's like truly in need. And just because, you know, we're paying the rent, like there's other needs that go with it. Like, are they going to have enough food? Like, how are the kids, you know, doing like during like school at home? Do you have the proper equipment? Do you have the right area so that you can be in an environment so that the kids can, you know, listen to their teachers? I mean, there were so many people struggling. And so, I mean, those are the type of things that like keep me up at night, because I'm like, okay, like we can go find food here. I can work with, you know, this gardener over here, this farmer over here, and, you know, getting people to like donate different produce. And I could tell people, hey, just come down to the office. We'll have like a box of like fresh produce out in the front. And then the elders in our communities, being able to bring food and produce to their doorstep so that they, you know, can have an opportunity to have like better food during this time. So, I mean, just getting through the whole entire pandemic was like the biggest challenge, but the biggest success, because once we finally closed out the emergency rental assistance project, I mean, Montana and I mean, I think that night I worked until like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was like, I actually ended up working 22 hours straight just to make sure that we had everything correct, that we were good to go, and we could actually successfully close it out.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that was like the biggest project. And like, I mean, during that time, that period, it was just, I mean, it was really stressful. I actually fainted at work because the amount of people like looking at all the different like things weren't matching up, or like there'd be a glitch in our software, and like a formula would get wrong, and then it would just mess up like, you know, 50 different calculations. And I'll be honest, I am not good at math, but like I had to like teach myself like, you better get better like right now or you're not going to make it. So it was really stressful. And I had the fainting episode, but I was like, okay, I'm going to get myself together. I'm going to be okay. And just like keep going. And yeah, good times.
Which brings us into self-care. We gotta make sure we have that.
I'm so happy you said that, Montana, because I was just about to ask you guys. You guys deal with so much stress. What is your self-care like? Like,
working on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress. So definitely a work in progress. But like a couple times where I mean, Maddie's still like somewhat new to our team and stuff, but like I'd be like, okay, we're gonna take our lunch break right now and we're gonna go to the thrift store. Everybody has $5 to spend. and you have to get something for your desk. So that, you know, you can mess around with, or like something that brings you some type of joy, and be like, okay, you have 10 minutes to get this item. So, you know, to sprint into the thrift store, okay, we're going to get something. And so, I mean, it's like the team is, you know, together, and we're going fast, and like, okay, I got this. And it's just always funny because like what each person gets, like, oh, that's so funny.
That was really an awesome day, because we ended up getting like pretty similar things too. I ended up getting, like, they were all musical instruments, which was so random, but I found a cool like rain stick. And then my coworker came over, and she had a little drum, and it was like, oh, how did we get all this music stuff?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah,
it was nice.
And so we have like little fun stuff like that. And then we do like the question of the day on Amazon. Where, yeah, that's always fun, because we're like, okay, what's the answer? And then like we'll break it down, and like, okay, this is what the answer. And you know, we're doing pretty good on our percentage there. And then another thing for like the self-care, because everybody comes from like different backgrounds and stuff, and we have these cards, or like healing cards, or like personal questions. So I mean, it works in our environment. So like I'll pull a card for each person, and whatever question it is, I mean, you say like that experience about yourself, or, I mean, you're sharing something personal to the group. So, I mean, what is that doing? Like, it's just enhancing our bonding, and it's making us, you know, level up with like a comfortable level of like, you know, I got you, and know like your weak spots, or know where you're strong, and you know, just helps us work better together.
And it's super cliche, but like I think of us as like one big family. Like I think it's super rare when you can go to your coworkers with
I'm the mom though.
any situation, whether it's outside of work, with work. Like I feel like I can go to both of them with any situation. And the support is just like overwhelming. I mean, regardless if we're here or at home sending each other memes till 1 a.m., like we really have this connection. And I think it's so rare when you have that at a workplace where you're just so comfortable and so happy with the people you're surrounded by.
That definitely is something that's rare, but it's so wonderful when it happens. Like definitely magic. We have that here at the NLC too. And it's really nice when like going to work is just as enjoyable as anything else, because you know the people that you're going to be with are just really good people. And I know I have a lot of ideas for activities that I want to do with us too. Oh my gosh, that's so fun. I'm sure our listeners are going to steal a lot of those activities too. Really, really fun, ladies.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry if I could throw this in. Something else that like helps is like when we're a community and we have to like go look at a site, or if we need to go speak to a member just about like anything, and like we're there, and we're in their environment, and it's us three, and then you know, we're just getting to better, you know, knowing the member better, and just it's in that whole relationship. But anyways, just being there, we just had this one member, I'm just thinking of last week, it was one over in our coastal tribes, and just spending time with her. And it was just like, we left there and it was just like, man, that's our best friend. And it was like, oh yeah, we got to go check on her. And it's just like us together. We're just like on the way home, just like speaking about this member. And we're just like, yeah, we got to do this. We got to do this. And I don't know. I think helping people is part of our self-care as well. I guess that's where I was going with that. But.
Yeah.
No, I love that for you guys. Like Brooke was saying, we have our own little family here, and it helps when everybody knows what's kind of going through your head, like you said earlier. So the fact that you guys are able to be like, hey, I kind of want to help out this member. Do you guys want to come with me? And you're all like, yeah, let's go. Like, who's driving? I mean, that just makes work not work, right? It makes it kind of fun, and you're still doing what you got to do. So I applaud you on making work fun and like making your team have fun and enjoying what you do. So thank you for sharing all that.
Absolutely. If y'all could kind of think about, you know, your green self, if you will, like your brand new self to housing, is there any advice that you would give yourself back then, knowing all the things that you know now?
Yeah, get a comfortable chair that works for you. Proper desk. I'm not joking though, those things. I mean, because you're on the phone and you're typing so much and like talking on the phone, and before you know it, you're almost 50 years old and you have a kink in your neck. So those things are important. They are. But no, I mean, it's serious. But new self to like, 7 years later. I mean, the biggest thing is like when you start this business in this type of business, it's, really read the policy and procedures. And then, I mean, look at the HUD guidances. Like, does this policy really match up with this HUD portion? Is there something wrong here? Or is this really not working for us? Or, and then just, making sure that you communicate with, the director or the manager or whatever it might be, and then working with the policy review committee of like, hey, this is really, it's outdated, and we need some changes. But I mean, that for me is just knowing those things, because I mean, that's how you operate, is unfortunately by rules in a book that a lot of times people don't even open up the book to see like what you're actually supposed to be doing. So, and yeah, it's helpful to know those things.
Yeah, I would definitely say read the policies for sure. That's a big one. And just don't be afraid to ask questions. And no question is a dumb question. I truly believe in that. Like, just ask as many questions as you need to, read the policies, and just make sure to take breaks. Make sure to take breaks if you need to. Don't just work the full 8 hours. Like, definitely step away, get a drink of water, because it is easy to just, zone out and be in your work for the full 8 hours. So definitely, like, you need to make sure to take breaks.
And something that's, I mean, really big, it's you're in this type of social service type work, your desk is never going to be clean. You're always going to have piles. And like somehow Maddie, she still can keep her desk clean. I'm like, I'm just waiting for that day to like, oh, it's finally over, soft piece of paper.
It's organized chaos.
Your desk is never going to be completely, everything's done. There's always some type of work that's happening, and you're going to have different piles of priorities. So you got to be okay with like, okay, I got to step away, and this is going to be here for me tomorrow when I get back. And yeah.
I think that my green self kind of knew what I was getting myself into from observing from the fiscal department. But once getting into resident services, I mean, I kind of had a different perspective than somebody who just comes in. What I didn't know is how rewarding it is at the end of the day. This program, our programs, they help so many people, and it could be something as minor as a $50 PG&E bill, but to them it's a huge weight off their shoulders. And so for me, I didn't realize like how rewarding it is to help somebody with something you may think is very minor.
And to speak a little bit more on that before I do the outro, is there any advice that you would like to give our listeners regarding your guys' positions?
Like, I mean, what I tell my team, it's like, okay, it says housing, like, it's a housing authority, but like, honestly, we're in the people business, and housing is just a part of what we're doing. So, I mean, if you think about it, yes, you're going to, place somebody in a house, or you're going to help them get into a house in the private market, but there's so many more things that go with it. And like I said, we're in the people business, and we're in the business of helping people. I mean, that part's like really special to me. So
You said it.
yeah. I mean, it's just, sometimes it gets hard when you can't meet like certain needs of the membership, and you can only do so much. And it's, number one, you got to have patience, and it's, like not letting yourself get frustrated. And, those are like the hard things, but just having patience is the biggest thing. And, maybe like you can't fix something today, but like, working together as a team and like, problem solving and coming up with solutions and like coming at different situations at different angles, like maybe you can do something. So patience is key.
I think too, like always lead with compassion. You never know what somebody is going through. You may see somebody who puts on a tough front every single day and you think that they have their whole life together, and they really don't. And I think that it's just key to always remember everybody's human and lead with compassion.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. You guys are troopers. Like we said earlier, we were so excited to have you on this podcast because what you do is so instrumental and it's hard. And I feel like not everybody talks about those hardships in Indian housing. And for you to sit here and share your experiences and give advice and just be so optimistic is refreshing. And I just really appreciate all three of you for being here today. So thank you. And I hope we can see you guys on the podcast again. We would love to have all three of you. That brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks to Christine, Montana, and Maddie for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, thanks for listening to the Hoporenkv Native American podcast. If you enjoy our show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Also, visit our website, www.nativelearningcenter.com, to find information on upcoming webinars and virtual trainings. Please be sure to be back for more content. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.